Okay, hello, welcome everybody. Welcome to Language in Question, a podcast where we explore how language reflects, shapes, and challenges the world we live in. In each episode, we examine how language inserts identity, gender, prestige, and power, raising critical questions about who gets to speak and who gets to hear. I'm your host, Grace Torres, and today's episode is titled Language, Gender, and Power Who Gets to Speak? In today's episode, to help us explore this topic, I'm joined by three guests: is Victor Gamboa, Eduardo Barron, and Cielo Suastegui. And together we'll discuss how language can be both a tool for empowerment and a means of exclusion, and why these conversations matter more than ever. So, let's begin. Well, guys, I prepared some questions for you related to different aspects. Let's start just with some general questions about the topic. First, let's start with Victor. Hey, have you ever noticed how people speak differently depending on who they're talking to?
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me. And well, yes, I have noticed a lot of times, especially when people talks with a president or a figure of authority, people change the way how they speak, like in a more formal or professional way. And it's something, in my opinion, happens more than we think. Even in our houses, even in our jobs, even in our schools or in our hospitals, it happens a lot. We change the way how we speak when we see a figure or of authority. It happens, and it's pretty normal. I mean, you cannot speak in the same way to a teacher when you are a student than speaking to a partner. It's something that it doesn't match, it doesn't fit. And well, it's more about respect than other kind of situations, in my opinion.
Yes, for sure. I agree with you. And it's not going to be the same the way that we speak with certain people in specific cases. Well, for continuing, let's have Cielo. Hey, have you heard or used inclusive language before? What do you think about it?
Well, I have not usually used inclusive language when speaking, but I have heard people use it, and I think it is a way to empathize or show like respect to other people who do not feel identify in one gender, as well as using it in a neutral way can be. But yeah, I think that.
Yes, you have a point. Being empathetic is important over here. Well, for finishing the general questions, Eduardo, do you think language can change the society, or does society change language?
Well, it's actually a two separated way relationship. Society shapes language. We create new words, expressions, and way of speaking based on social change, like technology or cultural shift. For example, the rise of digital communication has brought us words like DM, hashtag, or ghosting. But at the same time, language can change society by influencing how we think and act. For instance, to use gender inclusive terms like they, them, or in Spanish, ella. This word challenge the traditional gender roles and promotes more inclusive thinking. So language and society are always interacting.
Okay, yes. Well, guys, thank you so much for sharing your opinions. I'm gonna continue with another topic that I prepared for you, and this one is gender and identity. So I'm gonna start with Victor again. Do you think language makes it easier or harder to express your identity?
Well, this is a good question. To be honest, I think, in my opinion, yes, it can make it easier or harder. And well, it will depend a little bit about your gender because I think for male people it's easier to express some kind of ideas without being judged, while female people usually are like more judged when they express an opinion about different kind of situations. Some of these situations can be related especially to sexual topics or sexuality. It usually reflects how easier it's for male speak about sexuality and sex than for female people. In my opinion, um, it is something that needs to be changed little by little, step by step. But it begins with how we take the way in how the male and female people express their ideas.
Okay, very interesting. So, Eduardo, how do people react when someone uses gender neutral language?
Well, the reaction depends of the person. Some people are very supportive, especially in inclusive or progressive spaces where there are more awareness of gender diversity. And however, others might be confused or even hostile, especially if they are not used to see as a challenge to these traditional norms. For example, someone might question the use of they as a singular pronoun because this word is being used that way for centuries in the English language.
Yes, I hear you. Okay, well, guys, as we don't have too much time, I want to change to another topic. This one is about power and prestige. So, the last question for Victor, why do you think some accents or way of speaking are considered more like professional than others?
Well, in my opinion, it has to be with, or it is related to usually power and social classes, and how these people about social classes, like a good social class, behaves. Usually you relate these professional or formal ways of speaking to someone that is from a high class or a good class of society. I think it is related to that.
Okay, so for Cielo, have you ever felt judged because of the way you speak?
Well, no, uh, but I did witness a situation where a family enter a supposedly prestigious store, and the family start speaking like in a dialect, and the people in charge of the store uh, start to look at them like funny and start to follow them around the store.
Okay, well, that should be something difficult to experience. Thank you for sharing. Well, guys, so finally, to finish this podcast, the last question is for Eduardo. Do you think everyone has the same opportunity to be heard in a conversation?
Well, not really. In theory, everyone should have an equal chance to speak, but in practice, various factors like gender, social status, race, or personality can affect who actually gets heard. For example, studies show that women are more likely to be interrupted in meetings, and people with strong accents or marginalized backgrounds may be less confident speaking.
Okay, very good. Okay, guys, so that brings us to the end of today's episode of Language in Question. And today we have explored how language shapes gender, reflects identity, and reinforces or challenges the structures of power and prestige. Thank you so much for everyone to be here and telling your opinions, experiences, and I hope you have enjoyed this conversation. That will be it. See you next time in Language in Question. See you.
Thank you. See you.
Bye.